Good morning. Welcome to reading. Happy Wednesday. Okay, so uh today we're treating our lesson like a catch-up day. Where I'm not teaching any new material. What I want to do is spend a couple of minutes just trying to explain a little bit more in detail this somebody in wanted but so then anchor chart because this is what you're doing for homework each night. And I'm getting a couple of you sending me messages saying, Mrs. Karras, I'm a little confused. Can you go over it? So let's take a couple of minutes and go over this. So this is what you're getting for homework each night. You're supposed to read this chapter of the Hope Chest, then you pick a character and you fill in your summary notes, and then you use your summary notes to turn it into a summary of the chapter. So let me scroll down here and switch over to my Google Docs. Okay, so this is the anchor chart that I'm going to post up on the classroom stream under materials for reading. This is the example that would have been hanging in our classroom up on the wall somewhere that we could keep referring back to every time we work on this particular problem. Somebody. Who is the somebody? It's either the narrator or it's the character in the text that we're trying to talk about. In is the place in the text that it's set, the setting. Where is this something that you're talking about taking place? Wanted. What did the character want? What were they hoping for? What's the thing that they want to do? But there has to be a problem. Every good story has a problem. Remember, when we're writing, we have our rising action to our climax, to our falling action, and our resolution. There's always a problem that the character has to overcome, even if it's a small problem within just that chapter. What is the problem or obstacle that might get in the way of the character getting what they wanted in the box above? So, so what happens? What's the outcome of this problem? Then what happens to move the story forward? Sounds pretty straightforward, right? You know me, I always like to tell you why you're doing something. The reason we're doing this is because it provides a stronger ability for you to become a better summarizer. I think we all have problems with summary, so this is something that's really great. It helps you narrow down all the choices, and then it helps you take those choices, add a few words in, and make your summary big and strong. Because the purpose of a summary is so that I can tell you all the important details that happened within the chapter without you having to read the whole chapter. And it's quick, it's short, it's to the point. If I was telling my husband about chapter 3, I'm not going to talk to him for 15 minutes about the chapter because in those 15 minutes, he could have read the chapter himself. He wants quick 5-minute summaries of what happened so that he can get the whole picture and move on. So pretend when you're writing this summary that you're doing it for somebody who has never read the chapter. You want to pull out only the most important information. Doing this somebody in wanted but so then helps you identify your main idea. So if you're somebody who has problems with main idea, then this is helping you with main idea. It helps you with cause and effect relationships. We do cause and effect across every single subject that we work on together. We do it in reading, we do it in writing, and we even do it in social studies. It helps you make generalizations. When you can take lots of different kinds of things and put them into broad categories, that's called a generalization. It helps you identify differences between characters. This Hope Chest, if any of you have gone to pick it up yet, it's a dense book. There's a lot of vocabulary words. There's a lot of just words in general within these chapters, especially compared to the I Survive book. In a more dense text like what we're reading, you'll have more characters, and those characters will be more complex, which means we'll learn more about them, learn what makes them up and what they're thinking, and just learn more about them in general. So when you have multiple detailed characters, you want to keep them straight in your brain, especially because we're not together in class and it's not easy for you to go, oh, can you remind me who so and so is? I don't remember. And I can just real quick do a summary with you. So it's important that you're doing this to keep the characters straight in your mind. Because I know I definitely have moments where if I'm getting into a new book and they're giving me lots of characters at the beginning, 3, 4, 5 characters, sometimes I have a hard time remembering, oh, which one was he? A great example of that would be a book that I'm in the middle of reading, and there's probably 6 to 8 main characters. So people who are being constantly spoken about, who are talking to each other. And I remember when I first read the first 2 chapters where they were introduced, I was putting little pieces of paper on, see, this is my reading strategy. I was putting little pieces of paper on the pages so that real quick I knew where I could refer back to, oh yeah, who was Henry? Oh yeah, who was Susan? And I was able to just real quick look back, oh, she was the drummer. Oh, he was the bassist. So it's important to make sure that you really are identifying differences in characters so that you can keep them straight in your head. It's also important to look at various viewpoints because even you could apply this to real life. Let's look at everybody's viewpoint. Just be open-minded. Okay, so let's look at some examples. This you should have seen already. This is the one that we talked about in our lesson. You were supposed to do it, I believe, for either either for the first chapter or the second chapter. So here's Violet, and we're working on everything would be blank, the summary would be empty, everything would be empty. We're going to choose Violet because that's who this chapter was about. Where was she? She's in Pennsylvania in 1918. What did she want to do? She wants to go see her sister Chloe. And we just added a little bit of extra information that Chloe had run away from home. So what's the problem here? Her parents kept Chloe's letters from Violet. They kept them a secret, and she had no idea that Chloe even tried to contact her. So what does Violet do? How does she react to finding out that her parents had hid all these letters? She steals some of these letters and runs off with them. So how does she feel? What moves that chapter forward? Violet is so angry with her parents for lying to her. Okay, so now we have this bit of information, this somebody in wanted but so then. Now, you're going to take those sentences, and just like we do when we have our planning page for our essay, we take the information, we add a few words in, and then we create this like wonderful essay. You're doing the same thing, same exact thing, but just on a little bit of a smaller scale. Here you have Violet and only a couple of sentences about her in the chapter. So you're just going to add a few words in and turn it into a summary of that small chapter. So we have all of our information. Now we turn it into a summary. Copy, paste. Violet lived with her parents in Pennsylvania in 1918. She wanted to see her older sister Chloe, who had run away from school. Copy, paste. Violet didn't understand why Chloe hadn't tried to contact her, but she discovered her parents had hidden letters Chloe had written. Copy, paste. So Violet becomes angry at her parents for lying to her. Do you see how we just copied the section somebody in wanted but so then? Added a few little words just to make the sentences sound nice and pasted it right in the summary. It's going to take some practice. It's not going to be, I'm an expert at this. And don't worry, we have many chapters to try to figure it out. As long as you are trying and sending me something back, then we're in good shape. And I'll correct it and send it back to you, and you'll see you're going to get stronger and stronger. Anything that we've done together has always been, Mrs. Karras, this is so hard. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do this. And then 2 weeks later, all of a sudden, you guys are like, I'm an expert at this. I could do this no problem. Give it a chance. Give it a try. You could do it. I know you can. Real quick, before I send you off, here's 2 examples. 2 stories that everybody should be really familiar with, so I use them as an example. Somebody wanted, but so then. The Big Bad Wolf. What did he want? He wanted pigs for dinner. But they kept hiding inside those houses made of straw, stick, and brick. So what happens? The wolf huffs, and he puffs, and he blows the house down, except for the one made of brick. And then in the ending, what happens? The pigs were safe, and the wolf was hungry. Haha. How about Cinderella? What did she want? She wanted to go to the ball. But her evil stepmother, she wouldn't let her. The solution? Her fairy godmother comes along and does help her. Then she gets to go to the ball and meet the prince, and she lives happily ever after. Whoops. Oh no, where'd it go? There it is. So I hope this kind of clears up your somebody in wanted but so then. We'll talk about it tonight on Zoom. Today you're going to spend the day going through. We have 3 reading lessons. Lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. 3 chapters of the Hope Chest. You have a introduction and a body paragraph for your writing, and you might have a little bit of social studies. Today is a catch-up day. I look forward to seeing you all today at Zoom at 2:30, and bring your questions, bring anything that's confusing you, and we'll talk about it and we'll figure it out. Bye guys. See you at 2:30.